And we are live. It is another Monday. Nancy and I hope that everybody joining us and watching on playback had a wonderful weekend. We had a beautiful autumn like day this morning. The heat kind of finally broke for a bit, and oh, so nice. And we hope everyone's going to have a great week. And we've got three showing that are lurking. Hello, lurkers. We invite
Hi.
people to pop and say hello. And we love the lurkers too. Just make
Yes.
sure to give that thumbs up. And we'll wait till we get some people in chat because there's a special little announcement that I want to share with everybody. But we need to get some peeps into chat.
Oh, okay.
And so,
I tell you what, I'm tired of summer. I want it to be autumn. I've had enough
mm-hmm,
summer. I just am over it. So there.
there we go.
I mean, a lot of people, summer's their favorite season. They love it. And, ah, hey,
Janet Lee.
Janet Lee.
Hello,
Hey.
Janet. Yeah, it's taken some used to getting up into the 90s and in the
Mm-hmm.
hundreds here, but at least it's not humidity. So,
Mm-hmm.
getting used to the fires is something taking, some getting used to. Um, but still, it's beautiful here. I just wish there was more rain. They need a lot of rain right now. So, but I
Yeah.
hear you, Nancy. I hear
Yeah.
you.
I just thought I'd throw that out there.
I know they've already been releasing some of those little videos that you can click on YouTube for like Halloween and stuff that they put the little um, moving animations in them. There'll be a picture, then you see like the ghosts flying by or the skeletons moving
Uh-huh.
and stuff. So I'm already watching those in anticipation. And for me, autumn is like my time of year where I feel most in touch with my own inner power, my own self.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an autumn girl, even though I was born, during the winter. But yeah, I'm an autumn girl. And Janet says I do like for looking forward to autumn too. So, all righty. Well, I'll wait till we get more people. So today's show, Nancy and I are going to be discussing working with multiple female deities, goddesses, um, ascended masters, some we call them. And this kind of came about with me reconnecting with my youth, where I was learning about goddess worship and paganism and Wicca. And one of the books that has been an eye opener, excuse me, that I haven't read in a while, has been the Drawing Down the Moon book by Margot Adler. It's quite the read. It's very intensive, but it reminded me too, and this was something I shared with Rochelle. Um, she just did a flip through of a deck, and the writer was Linnea Weatherstone.
Mm.
And I learned of Linnea Weatherstone when she did columns and articles for Sage Woman. And some people have never heard of Sage Woman, and I think they're still located here. Their base is here in Oregon, but they have been out for, I believe, early 90s, possibly
Mm.
late 80s. And it's a magazine dedicated to, the goddess. And there's different columns, different people writing for them. It's just, it was a great magazine. I just, couldn't afford it after a while. And they sometimes sold it at Barnes and Noble, but that got discontinued. But Sage Woman actually had an article some time ago, and it was talking about working with multiple female goddesses or deities, archetypes, however you like to, however you see the energy and work with it. And I think the woman on in the article had, I believe Bridget was one. I believe Durga might have been another, but she had three. There was two or three, and then she wanted to add another, or there was two, and she wanted to add a third. But for her, she had to make sure that the other two goddesses were willing to share space because not all. Goddesses are created equal, so to speak. Some don't, necessarily may not get along depending on their energy. Whether you see them again, whether they're conscious or not, they still contain an energy. And so during my studies when I was younger, learning about Wicca and paganism, my teacher, Bree Foxon, would tell us, especially when you're working with certain pantheons, and the perfect example she gave us, if you are, invoking the goddess Hera, do you really want to run the risk of invoking Zeus at the same time? Because those two, even though they're married in the mythologies or the energies, they're both very volatile against each other. So it's that concept of bringing in and working with energies and making sure they are compatible with
Mm-hmm.
one another. And so this article was talking about this woman wanting to add another goddess to her devotion and wanted to make sure that it was okay with the other two. And, asking for signs, going into meditation, to make sure that it was okay, with the other goddesses. And I thought that that would be a great topic because Miss Nancy here, she currently is working with multiple. And I asked her if she would be willing to share that with us, and she said yes. But she told me to go first, so I'm just going to share some of a little bit of mine. And for me, when I was younger, um, I, of course, being raised Catholic, Mary has always been a part of my spiritual life. Whether, um, I've always had some sort of statue of her or a pendant. She was kind of like the one that would look over my shoulder. And if there was another goddess I wanted to work with as I started learning about goddess worship and paganism, hey girl, hey Allison, I would ask her, you know, are you okay with me working with another divine feminine, another goddess? And of course, I would automatically feel yes. It was okay with her. And a lot of times I think she might have directed me, energetically on that path. And so she will always be a part of my spiritual practice. So Mary has always been there. Um, Bridget, when I was first learning about Goddess and had my first Oracle deck, Bridget, of course, Rhiannon, and then I started learning a little bit more about the Tuatha and Danu. And then as I got older, and of course Bast, I mean the Egyptian goddess of cats. There's also Sekhmet, but she's more of the ferocious wild cat, whereas Bast is, more of the playful, more of the, to me, um, like the totem, like the one to go to for intuition and magic and play. Play was always a big part of that for energy. And so then in my 30s, late 30s, Morgan Le Fay. I mean, the only two that have really resonated strongly that I have gone out of my way to dedicate myself to for a period of time was Mary and Morgan Le Fay. And hey, Britt, thanks for joining us. I can't participate. I'm at work. So thank you for listening, my dear. And also, you can anybody who can't comment during the show in chat, please let us know in comments if you feel comfortable enough and safe to. If you work with one goddess, if at all any, and if there are multiple, who are they? If you like to share, do they get along? How did you, come about, creating, these devotionals with the multiple goddesses? And I think the other one would have been Danu as well, for quite some time. Um, and something I learned recently is goddesses as archetypes, energetic matter, are all kind of neutral and or they're a consciousness or they're parts of our own psyche. So learning different aspects of the goddesses. So for me, I don't have a space that is properly meant for a an altar or a devotion. Still feeling my way with around that. But at some point, I'm looking to getting. I got a couple shelves I'm looking at on Amazon to make my altar on. So for me, I never had any goddess that didn't fit. For me, energetically though, like last year, people knew I was looking into the Morgan. I still am. Um, and there's some like overlap with Morgan Le Fay. The energies over in that area of Europe. Um, so nothing that is, that frightens me or feels like this isn't where I'm supposed to be. I did have a recent interest in the goddess Nyx. She's the goddess of night, and so I may or may not do a full dedication, but she's been a goddess that was very interesting for us to learn about and share on this channel as well. So, with that, and again, too, before I hand over to Nancy, if anybody does work with multiple goddesses or has spaces for them, do you keep them separate? Do you keep them together? Are there ones that, said right off the bat, nope, work with them before you dedicate yourself to me? And whatever, you feel safe or sharing in chat, please do so. And before I do hand it over to Nancy, a big congratulations. Nancy has hit 1,000 finally.
Yes.
Yay!
I mean,
Congratulations,
thank you to all my subscribers. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Feels good.
And stay tuned. I don't know if Nancy is going to do a show to celebrate the 1,000.
I don't know. I'm going to think about it. I'm gonna wait a few days and make sure it stays there.
Yeah, I get it. Yep. But it's official.
I was, today I pulled out my Dark Goddess Tarot, and in the very front of the guidebook, it has some information of working on the goddesses and are working with the goddesses. And I wanted to read some of this because I think, in a nutshell, it kind of explains what we need to do to prepare ourselves if we're thinking about working with a goddess, choosing a goddess. Um, and it says, when exploring a new power, stay grounded and connected to the other important powers of your life, the natural world around you, your body, your work, family, friends, your sense, and your sensibility. When exploring a new power, be open and patient. Show respect. Be neither afraid nor presumptuous. Open a door in your heart, in your home, and invite her in. Do not drag her inside. Do not tackle her on the front porch. Be present. Suspend your disbelief, also your confusion or astonishment. Don't be the person who backs away once the power you ask for becomes palatable. And I think this is very important. Don't be the person who backs away once the power you ask for becomes palatable. If it's working, go with it. Think about what it all means later. Still, if you get scared, know you have a choice. You can pull back or move forward. If you choose to pull back, it doesn't mean the end of your relationship with the goddess. When you feel more calm, analyze the experience. What was the trigger? What was being triggered? Deep powers can be paved over with great resistance, and small steps can get you there when a head-on collision will not. Try again when you're ready, if you still want to then. Another goddess may offer an alternative approach to this one's lesson. Move forward if you can do so with deliberation and resolve despite the fear. Often a gift of power is found on the other side. And I have I was talking to Heather earlier. I think I have always been connected to the goddess Gaia, even when I didn't even know there were goddesses. I have always had a very close connection to Mother Earth. I have always loved uh, working in the dirt, walking barefoot on the ground, hugging trees. As a child, I loved just plain old rocks. They didn't have to, boy, if they had some kind of sparkle in them, that was just wonderful. But I mean, I just liked simple things. And I remember when we were traveling, when we were moving from Chicago to Southern California, and we went, through the Indian reservations and all the beautiful things that they had that were made from the earth, and that really calls to me. And hand thrown pottery calls to me now. Things like that. But um, I don't know how long ago it was. I felt called to work with Cara Dwin and her cauldron. And I did some work with her, but it was like she led me back to Gaia. I don't think that I was at the right place and it was the right time to really deepen my experience with Cara Dwin. I have always loved the compassion of Kuan Yin,
Mm-hmm.
um, and how loving she is, and of course, Mother Mary. Um, I had a very profound experience with the Morrigan, but and she showed me a vision, but then even though I worked with her, it was like that was what she wanted to show me. That was what I needed to see, and it did not go further. Now, it may be that something will happen, and uh, that relationship will come back. But I'm currently very, very drawn to Santa Morte, and um, I really didn't know very much about her, but I heard about this new book, and I got it and started reading it. And I have found that she sort of meets you where you are, but she wants an altar all to herself. She does not like to share, and she
Yeah.
appreciates complete devotion. Now, when setting up the altar that I have for her, I set it up in my bedroom and I put it on my dresser. And what I used, you know, the feeling that I got was, you don't have to have something ornate. And so I went with things that I loved and I appreciated, things that I've had for a long time. One of the things is a drawer, an old drawer, very that fit in a desk, and it's just the drawer that I took out and I turned it around where you don't see the knob, and I cleansed it with Florida water. And then I have a crate, a wooden crate that I got when I was traveling in Europe way back when in 1971. And I brought this wine crate back in a little sling that I was carrying. And I put on it, I decoupaged all the things that I had gotten from Amsterdam. And this has been one of my most precious possessions. So what I did was I put that on top of the drawer, cleansed it with Florida water, and kind of like made that the basis of my altar for Santa Morte. And I am adding to it as I feel led. I have a wooden likeness of an owl. And I have, she showed me that I should work with the purple aspect of her to start. And so I am slowly building a relationship with her. And I have the other um, goddesses that I have worked with are here in my sacred space, all the way across the room, and I think across the house. I think that she understands where I'm coming from, but she is here comes Beth.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Allison. It was
Yeah, it was
exciting getting
brilliant.
1,000 subscribers. It really
Yeah.
was. But
Yay.
I think that when you are drawn to a goddess, I mean, you can just Google her name. You don't have to have a book on goddesses, and you can,
Mhm.
or you can put like you want a goddess of compassion, or a goddess of the forest, or you want a fiery goddess, or just whatever, and just find out about and read about these goddesses and see which one you're drawn to. Be open to it, you know and sometimes you like in dating, they say you've got to kiss a lot of frogs until you meet your
Your
prince.
friends.
Well, you have to like hang out with different goddesses and find
Mm-hmm.
which one is the right one for you.
Mm-hmm.
And um and it and it and it takes time, and I do not fear Santa Muerte, but I have a very deep respect for her, and I understand that she requires loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that at this stage in my spirituality, she has a lot to teach me. And that is what is drawing me to her. Because I have, as you grow older, you realize that you have been here longer than you are going to continue to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought of death does not frighten me. I I look at it as probably my greatest adventure in this lifetime, because I can't, at this time, I don't remember passing from one life to another,
Mm-hmm.
like, I believe has happened to me. But I think that she will help me with this and help me to have a deeper understanding, and that's what I'm looking for. Um, and everyone comes to their goddesses uh, through different paths, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's path is different. And what's right for one person is not right for the other. You just have to find
Mm-hmm.
the one that calls to you. And that's that's
That's,
where I am. I can give an example of something that an experience that I had with Santa Muerte. Um, I was in bed one night and I was speaking to her, and there's so many different aspects of her, and I am not a person who would ever want to hex anyone or cause any misfortune to anyone. And so I am not interested at all in anything like that. And I would hope that no one would want to do that to me.
mm-hmm.
But having said that, I wasn't sure what aspect of her I wanted to work with. And I asked her for a sign. They're different. Uh, you can get little statues of her in different colors, and each one of the colors means a different thing. Like red is for passion and love and obsession, sexuality. Um, and so I asked for a sign, and I went to sleep. And the next morning, I woke up to go to the bathroom, and I went into my bathroom and I looked, and on the rug in front of the commode there was something, and I thought, I didn't have the light on, and I thought, did my dog go in there and do something she shouldn't have? And I staggered forth and sat down on the commode. Too much information, right? I know. And I turned on the light and I looked down, and in between my 2 feet was a purple ribbon. And it was in a little loop, and it was like attached, and it was like this little purple loop of a ribbon. I had never seen a ribbon like that. I don't have anything like it. Later in the day, I asked uh, my son's girlfriend and her son if this ribbon was theirs. They'd never seen it. And so I took it as a message from Santa Morte, and I'm working with the purple aspect of her, which has to do with spirituality and astral travel and dream work. And I couldn't believe my eyes because it was such a clear sign. And I spoke with someone who is well acquainted with her, and they said, this is the way she works.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hang on, because this is just the beginning. So that pretty much knocked my socks off, you know,
Yeah.
because I was expecting a voice in my head. I wasn't expecting something concrete right in front of me. And so that's where I'm standing now, and I'm looking forward to my journey with her. And I feel like it will be, you know, for the rest of my life. But you know, I have a lot to learn, and she has a lot to teach. But having said that, she expects respect and
Mm-hmm.
devotion, and I am prepared to give that to her. So that is, you know,
Very nice.
oh my goodness, Ben,
Uh-huh. Ben has joined
Benjamin, so
us.
wonderful to see you. Goodness gracious.
Ben from Beneficial Tarot. Oh,
Yes.
there we go.
Oh, that's
Welcome, welcome,
so good
welcome.
to see you.
And Julie has also joined us. And Beth was
Hey.
actually sharing. I work with Bridget, but I'm slowly trying to work with the Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and let us know how that goes, Beth, if you
Oh,
can. It's
yeah.
like, do they
Yeah.
want their own separate space clearly away from each other? Are they okay? To me, it feels like they might be okay working closer together since they are from that area, Bridget and the Morgan. But again, I could be. But if you think about it, though, Bridget is the goddess of the forge. That's one of her aspects, and forging, swords, weapons, and not just that in a metaphorical sense. It could be forging, new paths, new ideas, and all. But the Morgan, they are, she's the goddess, or her aspects are the goddesses of war,
Mm-hmm.
of death and in the battlefield, and they are depicted with swords. So I can kind of see how those two Beth would, work together. And I don't know. I feel like possibly I might be getting back in touch with Morgan
Mm-hmm.
Le Fay, and Allison really quick said, "Wow, Nancy." So yes. For me, when I left Arizona, I had a certain vision of what was going to take place. And that absolutely did not happen. Actually, instead of, everything just fell apart in my life after leaving Arizona, after working with her. And I thought to myself, well, did I do something? But it's taken about a good 10 years to get back on, my spiritual footing. And it was earlier this month that someone said, well, there's a goddess temple here in Ashland. And I did not know that. And I looked it on the website. I haven't been there yet. But one of the things that's popped right out was this month they went on um, one of those chartered journeys, spiritual journeys. They went to Avalon, they went to Glastonbury, and they said, "Come meet Morgan Le Fay." And it just almost like broke my heart. It was like, I want to go, but maybe another time. But for me, her energy is here. There are people here connected to her energy, and
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, well, maybe it's time to reconnect with her again because her sacred space was the tour. It's a hill, but still, it's up, and it was part of, surrounded by water and spiritual and the forests and the trees. And so I very well may be getting back into working with the Morgan, not the Morgan, excuse me, Morgan Le Fay. Although again, with names and how I
Mhm.
can never say the word. I can see it, and I always want to be able to say it, the etymology of names. So there is some overlaps, with Madrone, Morgan Le Fay, the Morgans. So a lot of synchronicities, some connections that way, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to, and if it's true, then I am going to look forward to, getting back to know her again. But baby steps for me, I'm just reconnecting to the energies, um, of the goddess, and of, the god and the goddess, but very much connected to an energy known as the Lady of the Mountain here. She's very ancient, she's very old, she's very wise, and I had asked. Oh, this was before the last is I think this was about a week before the last new moon that I had done a meditation, and I had met somebody, and she had given me a name which I will keep private. Um, and I was told that there would be a gift for me on the new moon, and I was to go to this one park, not Lithia Park, but another one that Amy from Esoteric Rose Tarot shared with me, and I was told to go there that day, and a stone would be gifted to me from her, and so I did. I went on the new moon, and I took my art supplies, did some art, and at some point I had sat right next to the stream. It was perfect. I could take my socks off and my shoes, put my feet in the water.
Oh.
Um, it felt amazing, and so finally at one point, because there was just so many stones, I just bent down, put my hands in the water, was feeling the stones, and I literally it felt like I wasn't like reaching in and to go grab. It felt like one just slipped itself right into my hand. Felt like there was a movement into my hand, and that was the stone right here. And so the gift from the Lady of the Mountain has given me this. So this is one of my gifts.
Mm.
Welcome me. Here to my new home. Will I stay here? I don't know. I've had some people tell me that they think I still have some work to do up in the mountains of, Flagstaff in Arizona, and in Sedona. It's still yet, but we'll just have to wait and see. So, and Beth said here, and I love this. Maybe things had to fall apart so you would find your real path, possibly, but it was so detrimental, and it took a good 10 years,
Mm.
um, and I'm still dealing with the aftermath. Even going up until just before we left, there was still a lot of dealing with betrayal, and a lot of it was by women in the spiritual community.
Mm.
Not necessarily the men. I had a lot more males in the spiritual community that treated me a lot better than the females, and being, them being all goddess and everything. It's just like, really, is that how so it was eye opening. I've been through a lot, so I'm hoping that again this will be a fresh start. It'll reconnect me with my youth, with the authors that first taught me how I wanted to practice the kind of magic and connection to the earth that I felt safe and I felt comfortable to. And oh, Ben, let's see, betrayal isn't gender specific. All of them were women though, which was very eye opening to me. Ben had a question. Could I ask what might seem a silly question? Of course not, Ben, but I'm interested in knowing how one would start to work with a goddess. Is it a feeling one gets towards a particular goddess or one you are drawn to? Nancy, did you want to go first?
Well, no, you go ahead, Heather, and I
Oh,
will. I will bring up unless you want me to.
well, for
Um,
me, oh, okay, I'll go
go
really
ahead.
quick. Ben, for me, it
No,
was
don't go quick. Go.
for
Tell us all about it.
For me, it always seemed like certain ones would come into my purview. Sometimes I would get like signs or symbols. I'll hear a name. Sometimes you'll hear a name, and it'll be like, oh, what's that? Um, for me, the Rhiannon, of course, being a Stevie Nicks fan, I had to learn about Rhiannon. and learned about her story. And I've seen some art, with her being drawn with like antlers, or in the woods, not just with horses, but with antlers and with deer. I was always very drawn to that. Um, but sometimes they just stay in your life for a particular um, period of time. Some may just be in your spiritual circle and only come to you at certain points when you need them the most. Like for me, I said Mary was right there in the minute I was born. I mean, I was raised a Catholic, and I never feared her. I never lost faith in her. Sometimes I would question why things happened, um, but she was the one that guided me and directed me. With Danu, or Thanu, depending on the Tua Denan, um, I really didn't know much about her until I was taking a nap at a friend's house, and it just felt like I dropped out of my body, and I was having these images of somebody I didn't recognize. I was assuming it was me, and um, at the end, where I went outside of this door, this ancient door, there was somebody there. There was a man on there on a horse waiting for me, help me up. And as I rode off, or saw myself riding off with this gentleman, um, it said, "We are the children of the Tuatha And I was like, oh, I have to look this up. So that's how I became aware of Danu and learned about her. So it could be certain goddesses that come that might have been part of a past life, where we were spiritually working with them or connected with them. It could be through heritage. There's so many things, Ben. Um, so it's just pretty much, if you're interested in working or wanting a patron goddess, or several, I would recommend, if you don't have any at all, to start with with one at least, see which one speaks to you. Nancy and I will be pulling cards when we open the floor, um, but for me, just be open, especially asking for a sign, have a goddess name. I mean, we're going to pull cards too, to see if a particular goddess comes up, or got multiple ones, and see if they resonate. You read about them, their mythologies. For me, Morgan Le Fay really started. I had always heard of her. I know she was always, considered the evil witch sorcerer, that did in King Arthur and everything, but I was at a friend's house in Arizona, and we were watching. She goes, "Have you ever seen the Mists of Avalon?" And I said, "I think I might have heard of it, but no, I'll watch it." And that opening scene with the music, seeing her on the boat, and then at the one point, just you know parting of the veil. I mean, I broke down into tears. I literally started shuddering. I started crying. My friend was like, "What's wrong?" I don't know. I think this is and I just realized at that point I had a connection to that place, in a past life. So it comes around in different ways. Dreams, journaling, meditation, signs, symbols, what you feel drawn to. Um, so I'll hand it over to Nancy. And there's never a silly question, Ben. Please,
Mhm.
we're very open to everything here. So there's never a silly question. We're all learning. We're all on different, points on the path, and don't ever hesitate to ask a question.
Well, I think, to in part to answer Ben's question, I think that a lot of times a goddess is already trying to connect with you before you find them, and that's how it happens. But And I feel that way. I feel that way with my relationship now with Santa Morte, because um, I really didn't know anything about her. And then, when I started reading about her, there was just something that spoke to me. And uh, she's having to be very patient with me because I clearly don't know what I'm doing. But my um, my heart is in the right place, I think. And I think that um, that when you finally find the goddess that you are meant to work with, or that you have a feeling of almost being at home. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just in your heart, oh, you know, here it is, um, and and you know, there's so many decks, there's so many goddess decks, and there's so much information about goddesses and gods, and I think, like the Morrigan had something very precious to show me, and she did. And I was called to her because every time I went out on my front porch, there were just all these crows calling to me. And I asked my son at Christmas if he would get me the Call of the Morrigan Oracle deck. And when I was out on my porch one morning, and I said, do you want to work with me? And I thought, well, I have to offer you something. And I looked down, and I had like a jar of pieces of coal that we found in when we were digging a water line, and people that had lived here a long time ago would throw their coal out from their coal grates, and they got buried in the dirt. And I was thinking of the Morrigan, and on the battlefields, and how they would have fires, and I thought, well, a piece of coal would make your fire hotter. I imagine that you would want a piece of coal, and that felt right to me. And with Santa Morte, um, every morning when I wake up, I get her a fresh goblet of water and put on the altar. And I talk to her, and I tell her, what my hopes and my dreams are, and what I want, and that I do want to work with her, but I really am in a way flying blind. And I think the main thing is devotion. And I think of other people in our community that work with different goddesses, and they have been, there's just something that has drawn them to this goddess, and they do everything that they possibly can to please the goddess, and to show that their intentions are good, towards the goddess. And I think that, when you come at it with kind of like, not exactly a pure heart, but that's the only way I can explain it, the goddess realizes that you're trying, and that you're sincere. Because if you're not sincere, they know it. If it's just like a facade, it's not going to work. It has to be very deeply felt and experienced. And when you can get to that point, that's when the magic starts to happen. That's when you actually see things in your life that are changing, or inside you have a depth that you didn't have before. And that is what I'm looking for on my spiritual journey. The tarot is and oracle decks are a great um, source of spirituality for me. And so that's where I am. I mean, I want to be committed to someone who is going to help me on my spiritual journey. And to me, that's the most important thing. But everybody has different reasons for working with goddesses. And I think, like some of the goddesses that I've worked with, they were just like the steps that I needed to be able to totally commit to one, if that makes sense. But that's, you know,
That's
um,
that's interesting because the one book I'm reading, The Drawing Down the Moon, I think it's that one, or there was, or if it was the other one. But it was stating that how the goddesses are, or any sort of polytheistic viewpoint or religious belief, they're all aspects within ourselves. So it's either you are working, with actual conscientious goddesses and their energies, or you're connecting to them even on your internal level. It could be, it's interesting if that's how one perceives, deity
Mm-hmm.
and the goddess, is through, archetypes within that are contained within us. It's
Mm-hmm.
exploring the many facets of who we are. And of course, some of those facets, because people believe in them so deeply, have created an actual energetic form outside of ourselves. So, but just, when you were saying how her, asking her on what aspects of yourself to work with and getting those answers, that's beautiful. That's
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful start
Mm-hmm.
to that relationship, that connection. And really quick, Carolina has joined us. Hello, my dear. Aquarius Tarot um, Adventures. And were you done, Nancy? So,
Yeah, I mean,
oh, okay.
um, I, I mean, I think if you are, I mean, I would say if you have no idea who to work with, just open yourself to the possibility of a goddess coming to you,
Hmm.
and then listen. Ask your spiritual team, ask your guides and angels to help direct you to who you're supposed to work with, and just be open to what happens, and then explore it and see if it's the right one for you.
And
It's a
Ben
very
said,
personal
sorry,
thing. Hmm.
because I keep hearing about Santa Muerte on a lot of videos I watch. So that could be something too.
Hmm.
You share that with us. And Janet, I had that's why I had to go mute myself and take the the camera off. Janet said Belladonna was one of my first LPs. Still have it and play it on a giant console stereo from the '70s. Janet, I still got mine.
Ah.
I've had this since I was a young girl. So I totally get it, sweetheart. I still have my original Belladonna and it's not going anywhere. So, yay! I had to share that. I couldn't resist. Along with my, I have like Madonna's first 3 or 4 albums still originals on vinyl, along with the Go Go's. But when you mentioned, Stevie Nicks, when I got to see her in concert back in 2007, I was 10th row from the stage, and she was fabulous, absolutely amazing. So, and something too that I was thinking about today. Shan was watching a video on like highly emotional people. It was a documentary, and just now, years from now, people are going to be possibly looking and going, "Wait a minute, the Stevie Nicks, the woman that in the video was Alanis Morissette," and I'm thinking about Tori Amos, and I'm thinking about Madonna, I'm thinking about Janice. At some point, years from now, are the oncoming generations going to look at them as goddesses and invoke them into their rituals?
Ah.
You know, I
Yeah.
thought that was something very interesting because
Mm-hmm.
all of these, I mean, we are some authors have a problem with people saying "Thou art God, Thou art Goddess," and some people argue, "No, we are of them, but we are not them," and so it's kind of that dichotomy back and forth, even within the the pagan Wiccan and witch community, but we all contain aspects, and who knows, somebody down the road may, want to do a circle and they listen to her music, or they listen to, Tori's music, or Kate Bush, or Joan Baez, just reaching different, Ani DeFranco, and reaching in and going, wow, these amazing feminine archetypes, they were real. I want to tap into them and invite them to my circle. So, but yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting thought that came up too. And Magic Whoops by Moonlight is here. Hello, my dear. And this is Shay. So welcome, Shay. I loved the album Rooms on Fire too. That was off. Rooms on Fire were taking was taken off Ben of no, wait a minute. It Rooms on Fire. It was the one where she was in the red dress and she was on the black and white floor. I thought that was a different name though, but maybe it was Rooms on Fire. After a certain point, over the years, her music kind of up and down for me. But her last one that she did to support women called um, was it Watchtower? Not Watchtower. Lighthouse. She started rocking out again. I was like, yes, bring it. And I just saw two talking about, goddesses, modern goddesses, on a cover of Women's Weekly or something. Cyndi Lauper is 72 and she's still fabulous and beautiful. So, yeah. Oh, The Lighthouse. So, yeah, a lot of these women. I love Sisters of the Moon. Yes. I did not know of that song until I got I don't have it anymore, but it was a greatest hits that was released, and that song was on there. It was like a B side or something. I think it was off of Tusk that she did with Fleetwood Mac. So, and Sandy Black is here. Hello, sir. How are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful evening. So, oh, Beth said, you saw, oh, so you got to see her in 2012. Yep. I just wish I could have seen her when she was a little bit younger, more in the rocking, but then again, she was half out of it most of the time at a certain point in the 80s because she was, so much, with the addiction and everything. But I don't know, she still made music that, you know, oh, there's a live version with the Perth. Yeah, yeah, when I would do the I'll get to questions, but when I was in Massachusetts before I moved to Arizona, a friend of mine, Garrett, he got me to going to karaoke, and the only song at one of the places was Dreams, and so that was my repertoire. The first song I would always do would be Dreams, and then there was another place, two other places, but the Rock and Lobster used to have competitions, and Black Velvet and Edge of 17 would be my songs I would compete on for those same. Those days are long gone, but I love the memories. And see, Seven Wonders, I never really could get into that song. Um, but that was off. Yep, it was off of Tango in the Night. Stevie was still not quite. I don't know. I can't remember if she was coming out of rehab or going just before going into. So it was really difficult for them to make that album. Um, but it's one of my favorites, and I think it has to do with Christine McVie, who is in spirit. And Lindsay, who did a couple of the songs, but yeah, Stevie's work wasn't her voice, she just wasn't, with it enough at that time. But I mean, the album could have been even more fabulous if she was, but it is what it is. It's out there, and she's come a long way too. Natalie Merchant. I was talking about her a few weeks ago. She Tiger Lily when she left 10,000 Maniacs. That's I didn't have liked a lot of her CDs afterwards. It was that and Ophelia that were really good. But I got to see what's really cool is I got to see now. I haven't listened to her in a while because I like her earlier stuff when I was in my 20s. Paula Cole. Everyone knows her from Where Are the Cowboys Gone and the song from they use for Dawson's Creek. I don't want to wait, but she had amazing other music. And if anybody wants to see a beautiful, gorgeous video that gives me shivers just even thinking about it, it's her song called Me. It's on YouTube and it goes through each section of the song. She changes into different colors. So she goes through the whole color of the rainbow. And it's a very powerful and moving song. And I think it's my favorite. But definitely, I got to see I spent $55 just to see Paula Cole for 40 minutes. But Lilith, if people remember Lilith Fair, I wish Sarah hadn't given that up, but it was, I guess, just becoming too much for her to run herself. When they came to my area outside of Buffalo, Cheryl Crow wasn't a part of it, but Natalie Merchant, Liz Fair, Emmy Lou Harrison, Natalie Merchant, Paula Cole, and then I got to see some of Sarah McLaughlin. I couldn't say because I had to go get my ride, so I got to watch a little bit of her. But yeah, that was fabulous to see all of them. It really was. And Natalie Merchant is actually from Western New York. She's from Dunkirk, from the South Towns. So another little plug I like to. And let's see what we have for Fleetwood Mac is touring. You know, when they were in Buffalo a few years back, just like the nosebleeds were like $300. It was just ridiculously expensive for the tickets. I really don't know how anybody were able to afford to go to their shows, but yep. And Lindsay isn't touring with them anymore either because he got into, I think, a dispute unless they work things out. But yeah. But that's a whole nother show. Ladies, you got me going down a rabbit hole because everyone knows how much I love music. And so, but yeah, so for people coming in, today's show, Nancy and I were discussing, and we would really love for people to share in chat if they're comfortable. Um, if you work with one goddess, do you work with multiple ones in your spiritual practice right now? And if you do work with multiple, have you found that they prefer to be in the same area? Do you have to keep them separated? Did you have to ask certain permissions first? We're just curious to see how, what everybody else's experiences have been. So if anyone's would like to share, please feel free. And Nancy, we are at an hour. Are you okay for another half hour if anybody wants messages, readings?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, so which goddesses would benefit my current spiritual path and their message. So if anybody would like to see any goddesses that or God, how I would get an extra one is if I was drawn to pull an extra card from another deck or from the same deck. But if anybody's interested in seeing what goddess may be wanting to work with them and what their message is, just put the big me in capitals in chat, and I will get everyone down on the list. And let's
That
see,
that
Beth,
would be a great deck to work with the Morgan with. I love the Crow Tarot.
yeah, I'm actually getting the Crow Tarot in the mail soon as a gift from somebody. So I'm excited. Okay, I'm seeing these. So let me get my book because StreamYard won't let me star questions and comments. So, okay, let's see. I think I'm going to just, yep, okay. And let's see. So Beth, and we have Ben. Ben, it's going to be so nice to read for you, my dear. It's been so long. Shay says that she works with Hecate. She likes her own altar. So I'm assuming then Shay, you work with any additional goddesses, but Hecate likes her own altar space herself. Let's see, we got Julie and we have Shay. Alrighty. Do. And if I end up missing somebody, please let me know. But I think I'm on track here. And I'm going to take a quick sip because I've been yapping. And Nancy, and for people who came in, Nancy has finally hit 1,000 subscribers. So congrats to Nancy. Yay. On
Yeah.
your achievement. And let me put my keyboard out of the way here so I have more room for cards. Okay, and Nancy, when you are ready, do you want me to put you on the big screen or do you want me to leave you on the format that we have now?
Whatever. I'm fine like this unless you want to.
No, it's
If
up to you.
if they can see the cards better, I don't know. Who are we reading for first, Heather?
We are reading for Beth.
Okay.
And Janet shared something. I have a mother's theme going that includes my maternal ancestors on her altar, including in laws that were good to me. Kuan Yin, and Mother Mary. They all get along. Nurturing space I have dedicated.
Mhm.
Sounds lovely, Janet. And I love how you included your ancestors. I think it was last year for one of our earlier shows. Allison from Aries Tarot joined Nancy and I, and she talked about ancestor altars because she has one that's dedicated to her ancestors. So when I get mine set up, I'm definitely going to have things of my family that I have, that are going to be on that altar as well. So I'm going to mute myself.
Um, let's see, Beth. I have the card, the goddess card that came out for you is Ellen of the Ways, and I love this. I choose the right path for me. And I love Ellen of the Ways. I don't know, there's just something about her that she's beautiful. And in this deck, the Goddess Oracle deck, this is what it says about her. At the dawn of time, Ellen of the Ways sprang forth, ready to greet the sun and embrace her destiny. Her limbs are strong and sun-kissed. Her hair is red and tousled, braided with the vines and leaves, and her eyes are the brightest green to match the new shoots and shrubs that come to life all around her. Most striking of all are the antlers that twist from her brow, like a crown of bone. She walks the dream world just as she wanders the real world. And though you may never be sure if you've really seen her, she'll be there to help you find the right path and discover your life's purpose. And the ritual that goes for Ellen of the Ways is Ellen of the Ways, the Celtic goddess of pathways, inspires us to choose our journey wisely. Writing down specific goals embodies her energy of direction and purpose. Think of a personal growth or career goal and write down specific achievable steps towards it. And the cards that I also drew along with this, the aspect of what Ellen will bring to you is happiness, the joy of life, and hope. Out of the darkness comes light. And I love that goddess that came out for you because she is truly beautiful. And that's what I have for you, Beth.
Alrighty, so Kristen has joined us. Hello, Kristen, my dear. Thanks for popping in. And Beth, I saw that you asked if I saw your comment. I let me see if I can go up. I think I'm going. I don't think this is it. I'm going to designate the Crow Tarot and open up communication again with the Morrigan. Unless there was another one, Beth, that I missed that you are mentioning. I don't see. And Shay has also shared, I started an ancestor altar a few months ago. It seems to keep growing and growing. That sounds beautiful, my dear. And Janet said, in-law grandmother taught me how to embroider when I was 21. I still embroider. That's amazing. I tried learning, and that was difficult for me. Just resent above, Beth said. Okay, here we go. So Beth said, I asked the Morrigan if she would show me a sign she wanted to work with me. Next morning, my backyard was filled with crows. Next day, I found a crow skull. I chickened out. Hope I didn't piss her off. Well, it may be her just letting you know that she's there when you are ready.
Yes.
What I got was interesting is I was I wasn't sure if I was supposed to pull one or two, but it was just like, no, one. And I got Lilith. And Lilith is an energy. To me, her energy is similar in the ways like of Santa Morte of Guadalupe. She is, a death goddess. And not only does she embrace, death and rebirth, but also of independence, of embracing their sexuality. And here in the book, it's assert yourself boldly. She's the Mesopotamian goddess of independence and fearlessness. Invites you to reclaim your power, embrace your authentic self, and cast away the chains of conformity. Um, Embody the strength to face your shadows and discover the hidden gems within. Lilith urges you to be resolute, for you are worthy of love and respect just as you are. And I pulled from the Talisman Oracle and I got Union. So this feels, seeing that this is a message from the goddess herself. What I'm saying is if you choose to work with Lilith, it's about union. It's about bringing both aspects of yourself here. They got a white and a dark rhino, but this could very well bring your female masculine or healing the both, or actually bringing your light and your dark together. Um, yeah, your union will assist in that. And then the other card is healing energy. And in this one here, you have the world tree connecting above and below. So again, bringing two um, energetic points together, connecting you again with what is within, what is below your feet, and connecting again to spirit. So it's bringing in the spirit from above, or not necessarily above, from without, and then going to the earth from within and bringing that up and bring them into the middle of the tree. Just Lilith will help you grow roots, will help you heal, will help you connect, reconnect with yourself. And just some really quick tarot tiles. Um, I got the Wheel of Fortune, so this is moving in your favor. Times are changing, things need to change, they can't stay stagnant. Also, I got the High Priestess. So she's going to be assisting you in connecting with the hidden wisdom, some wisdom that you think, that you didn't think you had within you, things from your past that have been hidden. But once you work with her, start healing and bringing those parts of yourself together in union with her, that will start showing the wisdom. It will open up your book of secrets. It will show you things about yourself that you didn't know was possible, or you knew were there, but you were maybe too afraid to look or didn't think you were strong enough to look. And then your last tile is the Three of Wands, and that is about looking out, moving ahead, expanding. You're ready to start forging. The ships are going by, they're coming in. You're looking out towards the horizon into a new dawn, into a new beginning. So that's what I have for you, Beth.
Can we read for Ben next?
Yep.
Okay. Um, Ben, I was using the Goddess Oracle deck like I used with Beth, and a card flew out, and I thought, well, maybe that's not the right one. And I shuffled again, and the card I pulled was the same one. And I shuffled again, and it was the same one. And I shuffled the fourth time, and it was the same one.
Get out of here. Four shuffles and it's the same
I
goddess.
I promise. Hecate.
Oh, oh boy.
And this is what it says, Ben. At life's crossroads, I wield my power with courage. Now, what it says in this little book, I don't know if you have this deck. Let me see. This is what the box looks like, Ben, and it's a wonderful goddess deck. The Greek goddess of magic, crossroads, and ghosts. Hecate serves as a protector, offering guidance and wisdom of important life junctures. Recognized for carrying torches, Hecate illuminates paths in darkness, helping those who are lost or in search of mythical understanding. She has a connection with the moon and night, symbolizing not easily seen, symbolizing, wait a minute. She has a connection with the moon and night, symbolizing the enigmatic and transformative nature of things not easily seen. Hecate's role is both protective and mysterious, reflecting her complex character. Her influence extends to many aspects of life, particularly at moments of decision and change. And the ritual that it has in this book is Hecate, the Greek goddess of crossroads, symbolizes the wisdom of choice at the intersection of paths. This ritual is about making decisions with courage and insight. Arrange and light 3 candles to represent Hecate's triple aspect. Place a small offering of herbs, such as lavender or sage, near the candles as a tribute. Whisper a wish or a spell into the flames. Now, I went to the Oracle of the Hecatean Path by Ken Payne. I don't know if you have this deck, Ben. And I asked for 2 cards that would enrich um, why it would be good for you to work with Hecate. And the first one that came out was number 8. I'm going to have to read these because I have not worked with this deck, but I find it fascinating. Is Potina Theron, Lady of Wild Beasts? And I want you to look. There's a lion, and there's a wolf, and there is a goat. Okay? And this is what it says. I'm going to hold this up, Ben, while I read it. The animal faces of Hecate represent the primal aspects of her divinity and in turn reflect our own base instincts and the natural world around us. In the lioness, we find strength, pride, and sovereignty. The wolf is fiercely protective and commands respect, and the nanny goat represents a sense of independence, ambition, and diligence. These 3 aspects combined represent our untamed nature. Touch the earth, howl at the moon, swim in the sea. Reach a deeper understanding of how Hecate works and interacts through the environment around you. And then the second card that came out, Ben, was the cave. And this is what it says about the cave: incubation. Finding some place of retreat gives us time to rest, recover, and contemplate. Hecate's cave provides a safe, stable place where the goddess resides in quiet reflection, aware of the goings on in the world, but not necessarily active in them at this time. In the still silence of the cavern, you can reconnect, heal, and work on deep seated issues or plans of action, enabling you to reemerge changed and refreshed for the better. And that's what I got for you, Ben.
Wow. So, Ben, I pulled Inanna for you from the same goddess oracle.
Hmm.
So, I mean, Hecate, boom, that's straight there and in your face. But this could be another goddess also to work with. She may be another energy I'm looking at here. Maybe them both working together. But Inanna is also kind of, she went through a very strong dark night of the soul. But first of all, Inanna is, it says here on the card, I radiate passion and feel deeply connected to all around me. And that is you, Beth. You do feel people. You're very soft. You're very soft spoken. You're very connected. You're very empathic to people's feelings. In readings that you give, you're very attentive to people and their emotions and their needs during your readings. With Inanna, she's a Sumerian goddess of love, fertility, and sensuality. She's about balance, tenacity, unity, and love. Um, And it says here, Inanna has no fear. Although the queen of heaven and earth, she wanted more and visited her sister, the queen of the dead. Her sister locked the gates and turned Inanna into a corpse. But Inanna was revived, even more beautiful and deadly than before. So Inanna had to go through these different stages, and in each one, to go see her sister, she was asked to strip herself of everything. So it's basically you're going down to meet your shadow self. Inanna was like the goddess of the light, of the heavens, of the earth, the light, and her sister was the underworld of death, of darkness. And to go down, she had to strip everything off of her that was till she was naked before her sister, before her shadow self. So Inanna is the process of stripping down. And what I'm feeling here, looking at this, is learning how to not only, you already have that deep love for others, but to start showing that for yourself. Start embracing that for yourself. Start feeling things that make do things that make you feel passionate about yourself, about your life. And I love that Nancy had that one card with Hecate with the lion aspect, waking the lion out of the seven energies oracle. And so for me, right on, boom, waking the lion, waking that. I don't know if you're a fire sign, if you're a Leo, but this is about connecting in and tapping into, again, think of the strength card, tapping into that wild nature, like Anana standing next to her lion. It's the woman standing next to the lion. So it's basically the strength card, tapping into and learning how to what to let go, face your shadow, be reborn, be renewed. You're moving into a time where working with her as well will be waking up the line, waking up that desire to um, have that strength, to have that power of voice. And it doesn't have to do with ego. This is just waking up that energy that's been within you that you've been wanting to release, let go. And when you work with Inanna too, the endless possibilities connecting with her as well. Um, and your tiles, I got the Five of Swords. And so Fives of Swords is about in the recent past, um, you know, feeling like losing battles, having to walk away from people being involved of, or you being involved with those who felt like, they had to win at all costs. That feeling of betrayal and of being bullied or being made to be or tried to be made to be somebody that you weren't. Time to leave that all behind. You are now swiftly moving forward. You got the Eight of Wands. Things are picking up momentum. That was right under the Waking the Lion. And endless possibilities. Girl, you got the Queen of Wands. Take that wand. Again, here's the nurturing aspect of yourself, the feminine part of yourself, and that creative potential. Endless possibilities. She is endless possibilities, creative abilities, motivation. So you have it within you, Ben. So good luck, my dear, and I hope to see you again more often in chat. It's nice to see you, sweetheart. And let me get these cards here out of the way. And Irene has joined us. Hello, my dear. Hello, hello. And let's see, let me just back up really quick. Ben said, that was beautiful, Nancy. Thank you. And Beth said, Ben, you're a Gemini. I could see you working with both Inanna and Hecate because they would touch on aspects that can integrate. Exactly. I thought so too. And Beth said, that's so true. So, Ben, you're a Gemini. Okay. Strength. Oh, strength came up for me the other day when I did her reading. Alrighty. And let's see. They're talking about the Lion's Gate starting around the 26th. So this might be a time when you might want to start preparing and start working with these goddesses. Maybe making a sacred space for yourself and sitting, with them and asking them at the same time, one at a time. Ask them if they are meant for you. Just making sure that we have the cards, but making sure it feels right, and that the energy for them at this time is right. Um, And let's see. And Ben said, amazing that Nancy. Oh, you're welcome. All right. On to the next. Julie. Julie. And a quick sip. Wow. Leo lions keep coming up. Leo's got something to say this summer. Let's see. What do I want?
Julie, I have the goddess that came up for you is the Norse goddess of winter, uh, Skadi, Scotty,
Scotty.
Skate.
Scotty.
Um, and boy, I can embrace this. I have had I have had enough summer to last me a lifetime. Um, I rise up with courage to face any challenge. And look at those stars and the moon. I love that. That is so beautiful. And this is what it says about Skadi. She lived happily in the mountains in the bleakest of conditions until one dark night the Aesir, thunderous gods from Asgard, came and stole her father away. Others might have perished, but Skadi rose up with helmet and spear in hand. As recompense and to avoid bloodshed, the gods offered her a husband whom she must choose by looking only at his feet. She chose Njord, Njord, the god of the sea, but the two could not adjust to each other's home, and she returned to the mountains. And the ritual is um, Skadi, the North goddess of winter, wilderness, and mountains, is known for her resilience and bravery. This ritual helps you find the strength and courage to overcome obstacles. Stand in a solid, stable stance, emulating the strength of a mountain. Look towards the horizon or out of a window, envisioning distant mountains. Take a deep, steady breath, feeling grounded and unmovable like Skadi. And the cards that came out with that is the card of Sanctuary, connect to your inner strength. And the second one is Intuition, inner wisdom. And I love the owl here. I think that's, right, I've got reflection going on. I'm trying, there we go. And that's what I got for you, Julie.
Julie, some very interesting cards. So I pulled from the Obsidian Veil, and I got the Siren, and I got Santa Muerte. And I'm looking at the Siren, And for me, the siren is going to be here. Let me show you the siren. In the book, and then on the card, it says, "Beware our bewitching song, for within it lies the perilous power of empty promises." So, for me, let me just go to the book really quick. I think this is a kind of like enter at your own. I don't want to so because as Nancy was talking about earlier, Santa Muerte is not a goddess to be dealt with lightly. She demands respect and a lot. I mean, um, and it takes strength and it takes courage to work with her. So the Siren card, she's basically saying, "I'm here to work with me." However, the Siren card, I think, is to make sure that you do know what you are going to be getting into, not getting into, but what you're going to be asked to do and what is going to be involved if you decide to work with her. Um, so, what jumped at me from, you know, uh, the booklet here, what jumped right out was the empty chant. For people who work, like Nancy was mentioning earlier with Santa Muerte, this can't be empty. It can't be like, "Oh, I call on you, do this for me," and it does, and then you're gone. No, this this type of relationship will take a lot. It'll be a high maintenance, I think, in many ways, because you're asking her for favors. You need to be able to be in return to uphold your own end. And so for me, the sirens is a little bit. It could be considered a warning, or it could be just a foresight, something to think about before moving forward. And it says here they represent um, that they represent tempting offers that can lead us down a destructive path if we are not mindful. So this is making sure that if you do work with her, that your intent is true, that your intent is pure, and that it's not going to be leading to anything that is destructive. And it's about examining your impulses and being aware of the seductive influences that may cloud your judgment. So she's basically saying, don't have any illusions about what you can get from me and then leave me, kind of thing. This is something that is, like, again, Nancy said in the beginning, is taken. She's taken very seriously to work with her, and it says, "Through my sacred presence, miracles manifest, and hope is born anew." So this is something that takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of commitment, and a lot of dedication. Um, I pulled good fortune will come from working with her, but it will also take courage. I got the lion again. So maybe moving into this like season, Leo season that's coming up, this may be a time where we start examining, um, because we'll be having the fall coming up when things are going to start cooling down, and we're going to be between the veils are going to be thinner. For some don't necessarily believe that's true, but for many, it's a time where they start to reassess, get ready for winter. So Skadi and Santa Morte are going to be the darker aspects of going into winter, into the cold, into the night. Um, Again, though, like with Nancy, they may want to be separate. So that is up. It's going to be up to you. But I was also drawn to pull a card from the Magical Botanical, and you got Wolfsbane. Um, and I just love the artwork in this card. So you've got the Wolfsbane, and you do have the Moon. So again, intuition, psychic abilities, developing this, working with these goddesses. And I'm going to share the plant medicine because that's what was speaking to me, was looking at the Wolfsbane in the practice in working with these goddesses. And the plant spirit says Wolfbane is not a friendly spirit for most people. It draws up it draws up that which is animalistic in us, but its medicine is to help us face the primal fears and dreads of existence and in our own personal journey. Wolfsbane can help us tap into our inner wolf for protection and wisdom if we are not afraid to face the primal nature. Wolfsbane releases our inner warrior, able to face any situation, and the affirmation is, "I am a spiritual warrior." So again, um, the Leo, the courage, the wolfsbane for courage. Just making sure that if you decide to work with Santa Muerte, that it's coming from the right place and that you are going to be able to maintain that amount of dedication to her and working with her. And that's what I have for you, my dear.
I was just going to say, if you are interested in working with her, you might want to get this book,
Hi,
because
Beth.
there's no pretenses. I mean, it's like it is. But do we have anyone else to read for? Can you not hear me? Can anyone else hear me? I don't know. Let me see something. I don't know. Yeah? Heather, it must be you. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Well, I don't think that we have, let's see. I hear you, Nancy, not Heather, though. Uh, let's see. I think she's going to go out and maybe come back in. I don't know. Um, what I wanted to, what I wanted to say, since y'all can hear me, is this is, I'm not going to read all of it, but this is a prayer that I read every night before I go to bed. And it's a prayer to Santa Muerte. And this is what it says: Precious Saint Santa Muerte, you who are always with me, even as I lie in bed slumbering, you continue to hold my resting body. I am not aware of the process that continue in my body in deep sleep, but you know every cell in my body. And I ask that in safety you my body keep. While I sleep, help me to leave behind today's problems and unwind. Let me forgive and forget momentarily those who have hurt or wronged me. When I wake up, let me recall that my mistakes have been forgiven, both big and small, and that you always take care of me, whether my eyes are open or closed, unconditionally. Santa Muerte, you never sleep or rest, but look after us constantly. My need for rest, my need to rest and sleep reminds me of my limited existence, my mortality. But you, beloved death, have no limits, not to your power or majesty. I trust you while I sleep because you never stop taking care of me and my loved ones incessantly. As we lie in our beds, all my secrets you keep, most precious Santa Muerte. And that is an aspect of her that is loving and caring, that watches over me while I sleep. Um, and it just gives a different dimension. And this prayer goes on for, it's like 2.5 pages. But I read it to her every night. And, prayers like this bring us closer. And I just wanted to share that with you all. And you missed it, Heather. It was the most beautiful prayer.
Yeah, well, we're having apparently internet issues again, so
Yeah.
took a while, but I'm back.
Yeah. So I hope you all liked that prayer, or got a blessing from it. And it's been wonderful being here with you all today and sharing. And
Now
thank
we
you
have
all.
one more read. Are you up for one more?
Oh, just one more. Okay, I didn't realize we had another one. I've got people coming for
Okay, well, did you want
dinner.
to go? Did you want to
Well,
go? And
no,
I'll just do.
who are we reading for? I'm
We are
sorry.
reading for Shay. That is Magic by Moonlight. She's our
Oh, okay.
last one.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. Yeah, no, I'd be happy to. And then what I'm going to do after I read for Shay, I'm going to gracefully bow out.
Yep.
Okay, so I can be present with my family. Let's see what we've got for you, Shay. Mm, okay.
And everyone says that was a beautiful prayer. And thank you for
Okay.
sharing.
Well, okay. Okay. I have Shay. Let me just get this here. The card that flew out for is the Morrigan,
Ooh.
and let me see right here. She is the Celtic goddess of war and fate. Morrigan often appears as a crow or raven, symbols of change and guidance for warriors. Her ability to foresee and sway the outcome of battles makes her a significant figure. Morrigan represents the cycle of life and death, embodying transformation and prophecy. Her role highlights the power found in nature and the importance of embracing change. Not only influences warfare, but also reflects the broader aspects of life and tradition. And the visualization a ritual for her is it's about harnessing courage and shaping your future. Visualize a challenge as a battle that needs to be won. Stand tall, feeling the strength and foresight within. Affirm, like a warrior, I face my challenges with the courage and I shape my destiny. And the two cards that I got to go with that, Shay, um, are the card of awareness. Look beyond what you see. That is very, very
I got a card with a fox on it too.
okay. And the last one is love your body, let your beauty radiate out. And I love that for you, Shay. And I'm going to say goodbye to everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
And really quick, Shay says, Nancy, that card makes so much sense. I have been feeling pulled to work with her. So thank you, Nancy.
Hey,
And we'll
love
see you
you all.
later.
Bye bye.
Bye. Okay, so Shay, I have Quaddle for you. And here, let me put, there we go. Um, she is the Aztec mother goddess of renewal, regeneration, balance, and fertility. And Koleku gave birth to the earth and everything on it. She feeds on dead corpses to show that the earth consumes all that dies to help it grow and evolve. It is a process of renewal, just as the snake sheds its skins, and Koleku demonstrates that life is a series of deaths and rebirths. There is nothing to fear. So she's been kind of in my purview too, but snakes, we're getting there. But that that's the goddess that came up for you, Shay. And with the Talisman Oracle, I pulled resilience, and I got the fox, and they put fox on there. And foxes are cunning, they're smart, they can be tricksters, and also very playful. So this card is about resiliency. Working with Koleku will help, but she also acknowledges the work of that you are resilient, and that working with her would continue to help build that resiliency. And the next card also see that she is a goddess of death, of rebirth, new going forward. What's the word? I'm just going to show the card. So you got cut ties. So for me, the death and rebirth, moving forward, cutting ties with people, with energy, ways we think, all aspects of our life that no longer serve us. So we're cutting those ties, and she would be a goddess to help you do that, being the goddess of death and renewal and rebirth. Um, and your tarot tiles that go with that. I got the Judgment card. So for me, this is a two-way here, and I'm kind of seeing. So for me, it feels very much like, I don't know if there's anyone in your immediate circle, family, friends that necessarily may or may not agree with your interest in this type of spirituality or interest. But for what I'm seeing here is about, this is a sense of possibly being judged. And also too with Kola Ku, she is the goddess of death and rebirth. And this card is about rebirth. It's the day of judgment when everybody rises, and it's also the card of spiritual development, spiritual awakening. So that resilience, cutting ties, it will allow you to be able to rise above and move past judgment and into a more spiritual, um, um, spiritual development. And the other tile I got is the Ten of Cups, which is, the culmination of happiness, family. So this could represent your internal sensation of finding your bliss, finding your happiness, finding your home. But with this being, also with cards of resilience and cutting ties, this could be cutting ties with family and friends that don't support who you are. Um, and maybe also embracing and welcoming new ones into your life that will embrace and welcome you. Um, but with Kola Q, she's pretty badass. Again, she's Aztec, and actually, I'm going to go ahead and read. There's a ritual for this, and it says here, Kola Q, the Aztec mother goddess, represents the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. This breathing exercise will help you embrace regeneration and inner peace in line with Kola Q's transformative power. And this is something that we all can do too in moments where we need to take deep breaths when we need to. And it says practice the 4, 7, or 8 breathing technique, inhaling for 4 seconds, holding for 7, exhaling for 8, or whatever feels more comfortable for you. With each breath cycle, focus on the sensation of renewal. Affirm, with each breath, I renew and revitalize. So that's what I have for you, Shay. I really love this new deck, everybody. I love the artwork on here. I just love how Nancy and I both got the fox. So that may be another animal totem that you might want to look into in working with on your spiritual path and making a connection with the fox. But yeah, Guadalupe. And that's what I have for you, my dear, and everybody. Let's see what we got here. I'll have to take a look into her. Considering what I'm dealing with right now, some ties are being cut. Okay, gotcha. I hear that too. I think a lot of us are. And let me get this working here again. So yeah, everybody, thank you for being here. So let me just kind of figure out where we are in this week. So it's Monday. Wednesday, I will be joining, she'll be on my channel. So this is going to be 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which will make it 2 p.m. Eastern Standard, and it'll be 7 p.m. Across the pond, GMT. Jackie's Crystal Moon is joining me. We're continuing our series of called Holding Court, where we each go through the court cards and we learn and do a little bit more in depth into one card each time we get together. And this week we are going to be doing the Knight of Pentacles. Jackie has wonderful cheat sheets that she brings with her. So if you want to grab pens, paper, maybe jot something down that you may not have thought of before or knew about the Knight of Pentacles. And also in the link of that description for that video for Wednesday, Jackie is also starting her own course in learning tarot, so be sure to check that out. And then Friday, Allison and I will be back for our show. And Allison, maybe with it coming up on the Leo season, maybe we can discuss Leo season and maybe do readings for Leo energy or something around there. But um, that's what we have so far going on this week. Thank you again, everybody who spent their time and watching the replay. Thank you. Appreciate your support and hope everybody has a good rest of your day, evening, and we'll see you again next time. Have a good night, everybody. And we really quick. The artwork is nice. Janet says that will be good. Hope to be there. I have an electrical inspection. Yeah. Irene says that will be good. Hope to be. Oh, okay. And then, okay. Elsa says, have a good night. Good evening, everyone. Bye bye.